Good evening and welcome to tonight's Conversations with Camden. Kind of a unique Conversations with Camden. We're having kind of an online open house tonight due to the COVID-19 situation. But what we're going to try to do tonight is, make it as real of an open house as we can. So just kind of give you an overview of what will happen. Just a few minutes, we're going to introduce these other people here in the screens, but we're also going to have a quick PowerPoint presentation just to kind of run through a few things. And we'll also go on to let these guys kind of tell you their personal stories here at Camden. So thank you for joining us. And if you have any questions, absolutely post them to any social media. You can do it right here in the YouTube chat, and we'll get to as many of those as possible. You just want to make sure you use that hashtag right there, CMA Open House, hashtag CMA Open House. So, and we will find those questions and get those out to these young men or to myself if you have some for me. All right, so start out with letting these guys introduce themselves. We have, of course, some distance learning going on because due to the COVID-19 situation, we have some students here on campus. We have 2 students on campus and 1 distance learning and joining us tonight. So Devin, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself since you're our lone distance learner.
Hi, I'm Devin McKee. I'm a senior and I'm from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina.
And how about you, Pitt?
My name's William Pitt. I'm in 11th grade and I'm from Wilmington, North Carolina.
And John.
Hi, my name is John Simmons. I'm in 8th grade and I'm from Steamboat Springs, Colorado.
All righty, thank you guys, and thanks for taking time to be here tonight. Again, Simmons and Pitt are both here on campus, so they're kind of, captive audience. They're probably getting out of study hall, so they don't mind it. But Devin's at home. Don't even want to know what he's doing. He's probably supposed to be getting ready to go to study hall, but we'll talk about that later. All right, we want to jump into our presentation really quickly here and just run through a few slides with you. And if you have any questions, along the way, again, just put them on social media using the hashtag CMA Open House. All right, the first slide there, you see we're in Camden, South Carolina. Camden is actually in the geographical center of the state of South Carolina. We're 32 miles northeast of Columbia. Columbia is the capital city. And then we're about an hour and 15 minutes south of Charlotte. So if people that need to fly in, they can certainly fly into Charlotte airports or the Columbia, South Carolina airports. The history of the school, we go back to 1892. So lots of history and tradition here. Carlisle Military School was our founding school. Camden Academy was formed in 49. Those 2 schools merged and we became Camden Military Academy and have been on the current campus since 58. One thing that's really unique about Camden Military Academy compared to other military schools, we are very traditional. As you can see there, we're all male, all boarding, and we're 7th through 12th grade. We're also college prep. Back when Carlisle was founded, we were founded to be a college preparatory finishing school for Wofford University, and we still maintain that today. Now, education is our main focus, and with education comes a lot of emphasis on the academic part of the school. So I always like to tell people that we're not a boot camp. We are, a military school, and we're proud of that. But we use a lot of the military principles and philosophies to back up things that happen in the classroom, as well as, in real life, everyday situations. As you can see here on the slide, lots of important things there, but I always think the 4th bullet point down is the most important, the supervised study halls. We have a lot of young men that come to us who are just a little bit lazy. Sometimes they like to have a fancy label with ADD or ADHD or something, but I always like to joke and say there's a lot of LAZY, and that's a lot of guys not doing their homework or they're doing it but not turning it in, which really baffles me sometimes. But we have also 6 classes a day here at Camden, so traditional with that as well. So if you're used to a block schedule where you have an hour and a half classes, your classes here are only 40 minutes. So very short classes, and we feel like we can kind of keep your attention, for that amount of time. On the next slide, we'll talk about the Learning Center 2-week grades. 2-week grades is very important. That's the way we kind of stay on top of things here at Camden to make sure these young men know exactly where they stand every 2 weeks. Now, the official transcript grades are 6 weeks grades, but every 2 weeks, these young men are given a report card to know exactly where they are, and teacher feedback and comments. So if there needs to be any improvements made, we can do that in that 2-week period versus waiting until the 6-week or transcript report time. We also have the honors classes, the college courses. College courses are offered through the University of South Carolina. So if you want to, if you're gifted, talented, You can start taking college courses your sophomore year in 10th grade. And you can actually get up to 33 credit hours now of college credit while you're still here at Camden in high school. So it's a pretty good deal if you're so inclined to do that. And then the Learning Center is kind of like extra tutoring. We have mandatory tutoring built into the school day. And this is for students who actually make 2 Ds or an F in any 2-week period. If a student is failing like that, not working up to his true potential, he's going to get some extra mandated tutoring that goes along with the supervised study hall and the tutorials during the school day. Other things that we work on outside of the classroom, of course, personal development, responsibility, leadership, and teamwork. Four, very good life builders, pillars to live by. Personal development, we want these young men to say yes, sir, yes, ma'am, have respect for authority, appreciate what they have, not just take everything for granted. And personal responsibility, we want them to be responsible for themselves. A lot of times parents want to, kind of be there to catch their young man before he hits the ground, because I have children, I don't want them to get hurt. But it's good to fall down sometimes, because that's how you figure out that you can get up and go again, wipe yourself off, and you can still have future success. So getting these young men to be responsible. So get up the first time the alarm goes off. Don't hit snooze 12 times before you get up. And then leadership and teamwork. Those things, just kind of learning to think for yourself, not be a follower all the time, not do it just because everyone else is doing it. It's always good to have that leadership potential. And we feel like every young man has that leadership potential. It's just a matter of us bringing it out in him. So it might not be academically that he's going to be a great leader, but it might be that he's really a good leader in the military part or in the athletic fields or something like that. So we want to start a fire and let success breed success. And that's kind of how we do it here at Camden. And then teamwork is very important. Teamwork, guys learn very quickly. It's not all about them. They have to actually, they're responsible for other young men, and those young men are responsible to them. So if one person screws up, we're all going to suffer a little. And if one person does really well in some area, we're all going to receive a reward, and that goes a long way. You see a listing there of things to do during free time. We have a weight room, all the athletic facilities here on campus, with the exception of the golf course. Golf course is off we have a new clay courts that we've just installed. We were the first school in the state to have the clay courts. So anyway, lots of things to do to occupy your time during the day. We also have church on the weekends. Sunday church is mandatory. If you're of a non-Christian faith, we do not require you to attend, but you have to study of your own doctrine, something of your own doctrine. So you can't be agnostic, you can't be atheist. If you try to come in at registration and say that you are, we will give you a list of churches and tell you not anymore. And then you'll pick one from a list. And you can attend a church here on campus, or you can go into town to a church of your choice. But we leave that up to the families, and that can switch. If you want to start off on campus and then transfer to the town church, you can do that too. Physical development, we serve 3 meals a day over in the mess hall, dining facility, they want me to say now. So, but you go over there, it's all on bowls and platters for you. And then that's your nutritious meals, and I'll let the guys talk about those meals a little bit later. But we also have options to the meals on the table, salad bars and things like that, dessert bars. But you can also send care packages from home, and that's a pretty good reward for these young men. So send pizza, send cookies, send cakes, send money. They like all that good stuff. But don't just drop them off and leave them. Care packages are a great idea. And then the Carlisle House, of course, paying homage to our founding school. But that's where we have ice cream, all the good junk food. So they can go over there during the free time, and it's at a minimal cost to get all the non-healthy foods. But they're still teenagers, so there's also games and things like that for them to do over there. And then sports. We feel like sports is very important to develop a whole young man, and then that's why we have 13 different varsity sports currently. You can see those listed there on the screen. Of course, most of them, football, very popular. Lacrosse is very popular. But if we don't have a sport and you're interested in it, let us know. There's been talk of a swim team coming back. We don't have one currently, hoping to get one. We're also getting ready to break ground on a new gymnasium, a little over $3 million gymnasium. And when we do that, we're also going to have an indoor boys volleyball team, which is something new here in the state of South Carolina. Now, the TAC officers, this is an acronym you may hear tonight. And a TAC officer has a couple of different meanings. One's teach, advise, and counsel, just an acronym, and then short for tactical officer. But for these young men, he's basically the dad. and they'll tell you more about that in a little bit. But I always tell the young men he can be your best friend or your worst nightmare, whatever you choose to make him. And there'll be some very unique and close bonds with these men. I've been at Camden for 22 years, and over the years I've seen TAC officers be in weddings and godfathers to babies that are born and things like that. So really unique, close relationship there. But for parents, this is your primary point of contact. So if you have any needs, if you want to just call on him and see how he's doing, who his grade next weekend, all of that would go through that TAC officer. All right, and then the housing there, you see the barracks. On campus, we have barracks that predate World War II, and then we have barracks that are brand new, that were completed in 2017. And these young men tonight, we have one that lives in the older barracks and one that lives in the new barracks, and then one that lives in the middle-aged barrack that was built in the early 2000s. So we'll let them kind of compare the different barracks, but all of our barracks are carpeted, air-conditioned, heat, so they're nice. We've kept them remodeled, but the older barracks, it's just kind of where you want to be as far as location on campus. Band and staff, which is where Devin McKee is close to the gymnasium, close to all the athletic fields, and right next door to the mess halls. If you like to eat and play sports, that's probably a good place for you. But then if you're in Charlie and Delta, there's some perks to being over there as well. But we'll go into that a little bit later. But the older barracks, you see that pictured up top with the newer barracks, the two-story building. We only have one two-story building on campus. And we have 5 different companies. And cadets can bring civilian items to their rooms, so pretty much whatever they have at home now would probably be okay for them to bring here to school. You cannot have a refrigerator, you can't have blenders, you can't have things of that nature. But it's very much like a college freshman dorm, at least for my age group. If you went into college and stayed in a freshman dorm, I have one child in college now, and it's very much like an apartment. We don't have that here, but it's 2 guys, 2 a room, bunk beds, 2 desks, all of that. Some other activities that we have extracurricular for young men. You see the CAP, Key Club. CAP is a Civil Air Patrol, by the way. Junior Leadership, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And this is just kind of like a top 10 list. We have more clubs and activities that you can become involved in while you're here. Got a question coming in from YouTube. It says, can you pick your barracks and your roommate? Yes, you can request your barrack. Roommate, no. Your roommate's going to be assigned to you and someone that's been here for a while, so they can kind of teach the ropes and show you, your way around campus and all that when you're new. But yes, absolutely. If you come to our summer program and then return to us for the fall, for the school year, you're guaranteed to get the barrack you want. You tell me what company you want to be in, we put you there. If you don't come to the summer program and you're just a fall applicant for the school year, you can request, and as long as there's availability, I will put you in there as well. After 2 weeks, though, you can change your roommate. So if that's something you're interested in doing, you just have to go to the TAC officer, and he has to make that approved, and then you can move. Now, we do like to have some fun during the year as well. So we take about at least one field trip a month. And you see some of the places we go. We go snow skiing up in West Virginia. We go to Florida to the Orlando theme parks, and over to Tampa to some of the theme parks. DC, Myrtle Beach, we go to medieval times and a water park. So on the weekends, there's fun things going on. And we'll also take smaller trips to the movies, paintball, things of that nature. Keep these guys as busy as possible while they're here. All right, I mentioned summer just a second ago, so we're going to talk about summer just for a moment. You see the dates on there. Right now, due to COVID, we're hoping that we'll be able to open up June 22nd. If not, our backup plan is to start second session, which would begin July 12th. And we're hoping to at least get one session in for the summer. But right now, we're planning on going to both. But you can earn 1 academic credit in each session. So, for example, if you come June 22nd through July 10th, you can earn 1 credit. Or you can earn 1 credit July 12th through July 31st. If you come to the whole entire sessions, both sessions, June 22nd, and stay with us through July 31st, you earn 2 academic credits. So that's 2 academic credits in 6 weeks, which is a pretty good deal. And then we still have, it's not military summer school, but we still have a lot of the military semblance there. You'll have formations. Instead of marching, you'll walk. You will have to clean your room every day. We do not require a haircut and uniform in the summer, but pretty much everything else is still there. For the summer school guys, it's pretty much school all day. But then we have summer camp where young men go from half the day. They'll have academics, math, English, and science. And then in the afternoon, they have camp activities. And that's for the middle school guys. And then at night, everyone, middle and high school, has study hall, just like we would during the regular school year. And this is just our last slide here. Different ways to contact us. If you have questions after tonight, you can certainly call the school at 800-948-6291. CamdenMilitary.com. Lots of good resources there. We have other recorded YouTube lives that are posted on our website. If you just go there and go over to the media tab, and then beneath the media, you'll see YouTube lives. Click there, and this goes back to everyone we've ever had. My personal email address is on the screen right now, admissions@CamdenMilitary.com. So if you have any questions after the event tonight, you can certainly reach me there at any time. And we do want you to come visit campus. That's kind of our biggest selling point is how pretty the campus is, and it gives you a really good feel of what we are like here at Camden. But right now the campus is closed, so we're doing virtual interviews with students who are applying, whether it be over Skype, FaceTime, some alternative method. But we are hoping to have the campus opened up and ready to go for students soon. But we have to wait until we get it from the government authorities. All right, and one last thing I'll remind you, as we go back to full screen, we can talk about social media. We are putting a lot of stuff on social media now, so I encourage you to go there and look. Actually, Cadet Pitt's helping me post some things to our Instagram stories. We've got some fun things going on. Right now, we have about 130 cadets left on campus, and that puts us about 156 or so distance learning. So it's a busy time, but we do try to keep the social media updated with the occurrences on campus and events going on at home. So Devin's made a couple of vlogs for me already sent in, and so we're trying to keep those guys that are remote learning as connected to campus as we can. So anyway, we're looking forward to. I'm missing the contact. I'm missing having people come in so I can tell you all about the school. So that's why we're doing a lot of these YouTube live events as well as Zoom meetings. But anyway, so if after tonight, if you want to have another virtual session with us, we do have Zoom meetings planned out. Those dates are available on our website at CamdenMilitary.com. All right, so we're going to start off with a new little clip that we have. It's called the Camden High Five, and this is something we've been doing where we ask 5 quick questions and get a response. And I think the high five that we have tonight for you guys to see is our battalion commander, Justin, and he is Justin Wilson, and he's our highest ranking cadet on campus. So let's take a look at Justin's high five.
I'm coming at you with the Camden High Five. I got some questions for you.
Yeah, what's up?
All right, so what's your favorite college team?
My favorite college team is West Virginia Mountaineers.
West Virginia. And what's your dream car?
My dream car is the new BMW M5.
Gotta love it. What's the best part about CMA?
The structure and discipline.
All right, and what's your favorite uniform?
My favorite uniform is parade uniform.
What makes you say the parade uniform?
Because I'm always gotta look sharp.
Gotta look sharp. And what's your favorite class?
My favorite class is probably my economics class.
What's your favorite thing about economics?
I get to trade stocks and I get to learn how the world works.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Justin.
See you, man.
As you can see, we like to have a little bit of fun here at Camden, but just attacking these guys with 5 random questions. And so if you want to see more high fives, look at our social media, Instagram, Facebook. There'll be some more high fives there posted soon. But I want to get to these 3 young men that are actually live with us tonight. And I want to kind of start the conversation tonight, guys, with why Camden? Why did you or your family choose Camden Military? And Devin, we'll start with you. Tell us, whose idea was it, your mom's or yours? And how did you end up here?
So pretty much it was a combination of both my parents. I had no say in this at all, but it actually was for the best. I struggled my freshman year with keeping up with my grades and staying out of trouble, and I landed myself with a 1.7 average high school GPA. And then I came here in my first year, my sophomore year, and I brought my grades right back up to where they needed to be, to all A's and B's. And after that, it was just up from there. Now I've got about 32 college credits too.
There you go. And would you have, looking back at where you were, would you have ever thought that you'd be able to say that now that you have 32 college credits as a senior in high school?
Definitely not.
Exactly, yeah. So seen him grow up a lot. All right, Pitt, let's talk to you. Let's see, whose idea was it for Camden for you, and why?
Yes, sir. So it started off being my parents' idea, and it kind of turned into a reality. So we took a tour, came down, and my parents were like, we think this is the best place for you. And at the time, I didn't really see that. I didn't see like what they saw in Camden. So it took me a couple weeks to get acclimated and just to see what the school was like, how everything was. I got to call home to my family, talk to them, and then really just um, kind of a "you were right" moment. Just telling my parents that maybe this isn't so bad, maybe this will help me, and that's pretty much how I became a cadet. So
Yeah, yeah. We actually have a video we're going to play later in the broadcast from Cadet Pitt's dad. But anyway, we'll go on to Cadet Simmons now. Simmons, you're in eighth grade, so that was probably a pretty big decision. You live in Colorado to come to a boarding school in South Carolina. So, how did your family find Camden?
Well, I kind of needed to come here because um, this place had discipline my parents couldn't teach me. And my parents maybe seemed like it was my choice, but it really wasn't. It was kind of their choice the entire time. I mean, this place is what you make it. It's really not that bad.
Yeah. Now, how about being so far away from home? Do you have any regrets about being so far, or do you like it?
I mean, I call my dad every week, so I mean, it's a lot much better weather here than it is at home.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And plus Simmons, I have a new puppy and I get to see Simmons. I walk her right outside of my door and I think he and my dog Belle have a little connection there. So, yeah, I don't think he misses home too much, hopefully. Maybe Belle's helping with that a little bit. All right, I have a question coming from YouTube that says, what's the disciplinary action of the cadets who have a hard time following directions or adjusting to a new environment? So, Devin, we'll start with you. What happens if you get in trouble at CMA?
So we get assigned tours, and that is pretty much just walking around a field with a rifle during your free time. And it is not fun because you get them assigned in increments of 25, and 25 tours is 1 week, and one tour is 30 minutes of marching. And that's your free time every day after school and on the weekends. It's not fun at all.
Yeah. We also have something else, the merit and demerit system. Merits, of course, you earn for doing the right thing, and demerits for getting in trouble. And if you have an accumulation of demerits, you may lose some privileges or something like that, which may mean you lose your phone, you may be restricted to campus, things like that. Another question from Twitter: what kinds of things can you bring from home to help you adjust to being homesick? Pitt, why don't you take that one?
all right, so things that you can bring from home, pretty much all your civilian clothes, um, pretty much everything you would have at home. I have my Xbox here, so I can play Xbox like during free time. After study hall, when we have about 45 minutes before doors crack lights out, there's plenty of things that you can bring from home. I have my lacrosse sticks, stuff like that. Just like hacky sacks, really anything to keep you entertained, you can bring from home.
Yeah. And Simmons, why don't you tell us what's some ways that you got over being homesick? Um, I know that, again, I talked earlier about how you're assigned a big brother when you first get here, your roommate that shows you around or teaches you, or maybe your company commander. So, what do we do the first couple of weeks to kind of keep you from being homesick?
Hmm. Like you can like if you're running like toys like a Rubik's cube or something, you can use those. Your phone, of course. Your electronics. Your electronics taken within like the first 2 weeks, then you get them back. I mean, yeah.
Good point. Yeah, I need to talk about that. The electronics, all electronics, including cell phones, are restricted for the first 2 weeks, and then after that, you're able to get the phone back and make as many phone calls home as you like. In the meantime, of course, you can go to the library and email or something like that. But there's no physical or voice communication with parents for the first 2 weeks. No physical communication for the first 3 weeks. Um, but then after that, you can have daily conversations as often as you like. Um, Question coming in on Facebook: what's the student to, let's see, what is the teacher to student ratio like? All right, so our class sizes are, well, let me start with the big number. Full campus for us is 302 students. When COVID-19 hit, we were at 286, so just about at capacity. Class sizes 12 to 15. Some of the college courses may be a little larger, but we like to keep them around 15 if at all possible. But some classes are much smaller. Um, Let's ask a few of these guys. Simmons, you're in eighth grade. What would you say your typical eighth grade math class? How many people are in there?
Like 8 to 10.
8 to 10. And Pitt, for you, how many people is in like the science class you're taking?
In my science class right now, I have 9 people, and I'm taking chemistry as a junior. So,
Yeah. So pretty much, small classes. I actually have Devin in one of my classes, and I think there's what 8 of us in there now. It was 6 for a while, and it was swelled
Yeah,
to 8.
just
So
about.
yeah, so it's a good small number there, which is good because we have a lot of young men that like to goof off prior to coming to Camden. So if we have that small class size, if you can't not make eye contact with the teacher, things like that, you're going to be on the spot every day. Let's stick with the teachers for a second. I want you guys to kind of tell me about teachers here at Camden, and maybe even your teachers, how they were at home, or the Camden teachers different. Just talk about the teachers. Devin, we'll start with you.
Pretty much, they aren't like your normal teachers. They'll actually sit down and talk with you and help you if you need it. It's definitely like a good experience because, like, going back to my old teachers, my classes were about 30 people per class, and they just wouldn't interact with us at all, and they just hand us a worksheet. But like here, they'll like actually talk, they'll teach, and then if you need help, you can actually come to them, and they'll like get to know you one on one, and they'll help you out.
Yeah, how about you, Pitt? What's your thought on the Camden teachers?
my thought about our teachers is just like a really one-on-one relationship. So they know who you are, they talk to you every day, and they're able to have a conversation with you. And the biggest thing is they're making sure you're on point every day. So they'll know whenever you're kind of struggling in one area. They'll know whenever you're having a bad day. So they'll talk to you, see what they can do, and it's a very like personal relationship versus being at like a public school. Before Camden, I had like 36 kids in my English class. So,
Yeah. And Simmons, let's ask you the homework question. What's the homework load like? Do you think it's a lot of homework, too much, or just about right?
Well, that kind of depends on the grade. I mean, my grade was like not a lot of homework, except for one teacher, but it's not hard. I mean, at
Yeah,
all.
so you have the hour and a half to 2 hours for the study hall, and most guys can get that homework completed in there. So for a high school student, Pitt, how much would you say you spend on homework each night?
well, right now I'm taking 2 college classes. So that kind of overloads you a little bit in some areas, but that really pushes you to take time out of study hall. 'Cause, I mean, we have 2 hours of study hall. So I'll be able to get all my other classes done, but taking that extra time and making sure you're prepared for tests coming up and whatnot, um, that is really helpful. So.
Yeah. And I think we had a question come in about structure. A couple of you had mentioned structure, and how had the structure here at Camden helped you change? It's a pretty good question. I wish I'd have thought of that one. Devin, why don't you take that one?
Yeah, it's definitely helped me change a lot because I was slacking off a lot when it came time to do my homework, and I just wouldn't get it done. But definitely that mandatory study hall helped me out a lot because like I can't really screw around in study hall if I have a teacher watching over me the whole time, and it's actually helped me prepare for college when I get there next year.
Yeah. And where are you going, by the way?
It's come down to three currently, so it's either University of South Carolina, College of Charleston, or the Citadel.
All right. I'm pulling for the University of South Carolina. Go Cox. I hope you end up there. We've got a lot of people going to Clemson this year, and that breaks my heart. But at least we have Devin, lone holdout for Carolina. Um, all right. Let's see. I want to talk a little bit about the brotherhood here and the friends that you guys have made. That's one thing that comes up over and over and over. When I talk to guys here on campus that have been here, or especially when they graduate. I have a really cool job. The last night before graduation, we have a dance, and I stand at the entrance, and the parents and the boys walk past me, and I basically tell them when to walk through a sword line. And I always think it's pretty cool because I'm like the first person you met when you got here, so I kind of remember you from back when, and then I'm here when you're walking out the door, and that always kind of gives me chills on graduation weekend to see the differences and the changes. Um, but anyway, I'm getting carried away here. As graduation's coming up, we've had to restructure graduation. I hate Devin. Not going to get to walk across the stage. Not going to get to walk through the swords this year. But we're trying our best to kind of get some things in place to make it special. But the brotherhood here, the friends, that's what the guys always seem to talk about at graduation or after they leave. So Devin, you're a senior. Tell me a little bit about the brotherhood and describe it to us.
Well, since we're such a small school, I've been around the same people for the past 3 years, so they're literally like my brothers. Like I stay in contact with them every day of the week, whether it's through texting or Snapchat. But it's just like I know I'll actually keep in touch with them because I grew up with them. Like after I get out of here, and then I plan on seeing them at homecoming eventually. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Pitt, how about you? How do you see the brotherhood?
I see it as you win together, you lose together, and you're with these people all the time. I've been here. This is my third year, so you're growing up with these kids, and y'all are changing into young adults together. So y'all are winning together, losing together, and y'all are around each other all the time. So that's stuff you don't get at a different school. So
Good, good. And Simmons, you're younger, and this is your first year, but tell me about the brotherhood here. How do guys, especially the older guys, how do they treat you, and how do you interact with them?
Well, at first it seems like, oh, I hate that person. They're so mean to me. Like, as the year goes on, you realize I'm gonna miss that guy, and it's amazing. People, friends you make here, you keep for life.
Yeah, that's really cool. Pitt and I were talking actually before the broadcast tonight, and he was actually talking to a guy, Leo Eckhart. If you're out there, Leo, you're probably watching, so hello. Um, but Leo graduated. Was that last year? Wow, time flies. Okay,
Last year.
and so yeah, so he's over in Austria. He was from Austria, but he and Pitt are still communicating. Tonight he was telling me they were texting back and forth, and that's something really cool. Um, you know, the brotherhood is unique, but then also we have 36 states, we have 9 countries, so you're going to have friends worldwide. It's not just friends from your community or from your state, it's from all over the world, and that's just something you can't find every day, in a public school setting. Another question coming in from Facebook. Our ninth grader has some self-esteem issues. Did Camden help how did CMA help him build up his self-esteem? Um, I want to answer that one first, then I'll throw it to the guys. But that's one thing that we find with a lot of young men coming in, that they are maybe a little frustrated. They kind of feel bad about themselves. They feel like they're working 150%, but mom and dad knows that they're only giving maybe about 20%. So guys come in and they're a little defeated, frustrated with school, feels like the whole world's against them, and that's why we have so many different areas here for them to achieve success. Because what these guys need, most of them anyway, is to taste success one time. And once they have that taste of success, it will continue to breed itself. And so, we don't necessarily focus on academics initially, if that's not his forte. We may focus on athletics, and some parents don't understand that, but that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build the fire within your son to have it kind of, blossom. I've seen lots of shy guys kind of really come out of their shell here. I remember one guy in particular, this was years ago, probably 15 years ago. He enrolled, very shy, and I thought he'll never make it. He was always down on himself, just in his shell. And then fast forward about, probably 12 weeks, 3 or 4 months into the school year, he's hanging out in front of the Carlisle house, talking to girls, very full of himself, very confident. And guys, how did that change with you guys? Did any of you guys maybe feel a little insecure? Has your confidence built up since you've been here? Pitt, you can take that one.
I definitely do think that like having your TAC officers, having other cadets, having your chain of command members there to either like build you up or critique you on like what you're doing wrong, that really gives you input, and it's not um, I guess from your parents' point of view, it's from someone else. So that can be very helpful. I thought that was really helpful seeing criticism from people other than my parents. So
Yeah, because I'm a parent too, and so I know that as parents, we don't know anything, right? We're all old and stupid, but maybe when a third party says something, it tends to make a bigger impact on them, and especially if it's somebody they respect, like a TAC officer or teacher or something like that. I want to remind everybody watching to please post questions. Use hashtag CMA Open House, and we can get your questions to a specific young man, or we can just kind of, leave it up to me to throw it to one of them. But we want to try to get as many of your questions answered tonight as possible, so keep those coming in. I want to talk for a second about the uniforms. Simmons, describe your dress uniform, and then when do you wear it, and what all do you have on it?
Well, this is called the full dress uniform. You wear it at chapel on Sundays, or if we're having a parade, or for special occasions like this. This cord right here is for band. Their cords, there's a white one for color guard, a black and yellow one for blackjacks or drill team. There's one more, I don't remember what it was. The ribbons are like achievements that you get. Um, this is the honor star. Um, you get it whenever you first get here. I don't know if you can see it, but this gold star is the academic gold star. Can you achieve a 80 or 90 above in all your classes for a semester?
So for academic excellence, and you have it. So congratulations. All right.
Thank you.
We have a couple other uniforms. We have ACUs, which is the camouflage fatigues that we wear usually on inclement weather days, and then Cadet Pitt has on the regular class uniform. So tell them when they wear that.
Right. So I'm wearing the class uniform, which some of y'all might have seen in the slideshow. But this is the gray T-shirt with the blue pants. And we'll wear this every class day. We wear this to class. We wear this uniform probably most out of every uniform. We have leather shoes. We got a Sean, and that's one thing that'll be checked by our chain of command or our TAC officer. So
Yeah. And then, of course, we have Devin. And we'll just say Devin is in his civilians that you're allowed to bring. So talk to him a little bit about the civilian clothes they can bring to campus, Devin.
They can bring anything they want that's not like vulgar or obscene. So like just any t-shirt. You can wear shorts whenever you want, except during the first 2 weeks. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But you won't really get a lot of time to wear that except during your free time. So I'd advise you not to bring a lot if you do.
Yeah. And Devin, show us that T-shirt because I can't see it.
Oh yeah, this is my Camden military blue crew
There
shirt.
we go. All right. He's on the blue crew. Yeah, I forgot about that. All right. Now, for the parents out there, I want to play a video. This is Cadet Pitt's father talking, and it lasts about a minute. So I'm going to take you to the video now, and we'll see you on the other side.
And I got a text last week from William um, just taking ownership of his grades and self-reflection, but just to see his countenance and how he's carrying himself, and that he is successful and he knows with hard work he can be successful. So he's seeing the hard work pay off. The older cadets, his TAC officers, the teachers that are pouring into him, it is pretty awesome with the time and investment that the men here have put into our son. His first call home was pretty memorable because he declared to us he knew he was in the right spot. And that was a huge first step. That he realized, hey, this isn't punishment, this is opportunity. And that's had to grow. It definitely didn't kick in the fourth week he was here. But to realize, I think there was a lot of self-reflection of, hey, how did I get to this place? And some of the stuff I was doing before isn't where I have to stay. It's daily affirmation that this was the correct choice.
All right, good stuff. I'm sure Mr. Pitt would not mind if anybody wants to reach out to him for a reference. Not only him, but we have families from all over the country who have given us permission to give out their phone numbers as references. So if anybody's interested in that, just send me an email to admissions@camdenmilitary.com, and I can get you as many references there as you like, and hopefully somebody from your area. I want to ask you though, Pitt, how does that make you feel? You see your dad kind of bragging about you a little bit. Was that the way it was when you first enrolled, or has things changed?
When I first enrolled at Camden, it was definitely a lot of friction, I would say, like in my relationship with my parents. And as the years went by at Camden, I could definitely kind of see how that changed. Like we'll go places, we'll like see my dad's friends or really anything, and my dad will always be like bragging about me. So I don't see it as much as he does, but it's pretty cool to have my dad brag on me. So
Yeah, yeah, I know it's hard to say that. So I hope your dad's watching, so he heard you say that. All right. I have a question also coming in. It says, "How military is it really there?" Devin, how military is it here at Camden Military? Would you say it's a boot camp or is it a country club?
It's not a boot camp or a country club. It's like right in the middle. I mean, we still have to get up at 6 every day. I unfortunately have to get up at 5:30 because I'm in charge of people. We have to clean our rooms. We still have formations, but other than that, we could. It's like a normal school. It isn't bad. It isn't too military. So yeah.
Yeah, I always, say if you put me on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being a boot camp and one being a country club, we're like a six. We do more than just wear uniforms and say the pledge. We're not to the drop and give me 20 push-ups scenario. So it's quite a good mix, I believe. Um, Another question coming in: what's the visitation for parents once a cadet is enrolled? Can you just pop up, or are there rules and regulations? Um, Both. We encourage you to kind of pop up. Of course, not during the COVID situation. After that, we encourage you to pop up and just kind of make sure that we're practicing what we preach. You can walk around and see classrooms, see your son's teachers. You can have lunch with us in the mess hall. Your kid might kill you, but it's okay with us. But a lot of parents will come by and pick up their cadet, take them out to lunch, take them out to a movie, something like that, which is absolutely fine. The only time you would ever have to let us know ahead of time is if you're planning on him going for the weekend or something. So if he's going to be overnight, just give us a little heads up because we may have assigned him responsibilities that we need to get someone else to cover or something like that for the weekend. So that would be the only time. But we welcome you to stay involved. We're not a boarding school that you drop your son off and we don't want to see you again until Christmas. That's not us. We want you to come to our sporting events. I talked about all the sports earlier, and well, I know Pitt, for example, plays lacrosse, and he gets really sick of seeing the same faces there on the sidelines all the time. So if parents can come in, come see us, or if we travel all over the state of South Carolina, going to North Carolina a little bit. Please try to stay connected with the school as much as possible. And speaking of that, let's see. Pitt, how often would you say you stay in communication? You're in North Carolina. Wilmington's probably, what, 4 hours away or so? But how often do you get to see your family?
It's like 2.5 hours. It's not bad.
Oh, that's it?
But
Okay.
it's like weekend furloughs. So once a month or so, like I'll go home on a weekend furlough. And then there's also mandatory furloughs like spring break, Christmas break. Definitely plenty of time to see your parents. My parents actually surprised me at a lacrosse game this year, and they've come to some of my games. So it's cool to like have your parents come to games and stuff like that. Just pop up on campus and to just come and see you. Um, I
Yeah.
see my parents probably once or twice a month, and I live almost 3 hours away. I talk to my parents throughout the week. So
And I tell you, let's see, Simmons, I don't even know how many hours away Colorado is, but how often or how much interaction do you have with your family?
Um, well, other than the mandatory furloughs, just talking on the phone. I mean, it's kind of hard to live halfway across the country.
Yeah, and then the same thing with our guys that are from California, Oregon, the West Coast. That's why we have those trips planned where they can get off campus. So if they can't go home for the weekend, or something like that, we have an activity for him, or he can meet a friend here, and then he takes a friend or goes home with a friend, something like that. So yeah, we like to keep them busy though if we can here on campus. I want to talk about a typical day because we didn't really cover that in the slideshow or talk about it much yet. And Pitt, why don't you take from like wake up until lunch, and then Simmons will let you take from lunch until lights out. Okay?
um, so wake up at 6:30. Or right now during the COVID situation, we wake up at 6:30. But on a usual school year, we wake up at 6, clean our rooms, get everything ready, fix your uniforms, get dressed in the uniform of the day from 6 until 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, we have battalion formation. So the whole battalion will stand outside the mess hall. We'll report in, everyone gets breakfast. After breakfast, we have tack time. So whether that be drill in the morning, um, practicing drill with weapons, sometimes like my company will go back and we'll have study hall in the morning. So you finish out whatever homework you need to do. After tech time, so 9 o'clock, we start getting ready for school, packing your bags, doing fallout. So that would be cleaning the barracks, vacuuming, cleaning the bathrooms. 9:30 class starts, so we'll leave the barracks at 9:20. Have 10 minutes to get to class. You get to class at 9:30, and you will have your 3 periods up to lunch. And depending on what day of the week it is, whether it be a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Wednesday through Friday, we'll have tutorial. So that's that mandatory, if you are failing a class, um, help and tutoring from your teachers. And it's also can be optional. So if you have a question about homework, didn't finish something that you needed to, during study hall, you can go in during that time. So that's a 20-minute period after your classes. So that's the morning for you.
Yeah. All right, Simmons, take us after lunch through lights out.
Well, right after lunch, you go out to your barracks and you pack your bag for the last 3 periods of the day, and then you go straight to your fourth period, and then fifth period, and sixth period, right? And after school, you have sports. Um, you go to sports, or it's free time, or if you're in trouble and you have pad, then you go to pad. And then 5:30 is dinner. Or, sorry, 6 o'clock is dinner. It kind of depends on the weekdays or the weekends. And then study hall is from 7:30 to 9, or from 7:30 to 8:30. It depends on the attack. And lights out. Doors crack is at 9:30.
Yeah. So yeah, we actually play taps every night at 9:30. So I'll hear it here on campus from my house, and then we also wake up to reveille in the morning. So we do still do that for any of you military guys that may be out there. That is still part of our tradition. Um, Tell me a little bit about your favorite memory here at Camden. Um, Simmons, you've been here the shortest amount of time, so tell me something that really sticks out. What's something you did that you really enjoyed or that just really stands out to you since you've been here?
I'd say the Spartan Day Challenge. It's like the first time when I come like when to actually do something really fun, and it was by far the most fun experience that I've had here. Your company like really comes together, and you get really
Yeah.
hyped up for things. So
Yeah. Spartan Challenge, you may see that if you look at some of our social media. Guys use body paint, they wear costumes, they really get into it, but it's a big competition and celebration between all the companies of completing the first 3 weeks of the school so that you can, you have your electronics back, you can see mom and dad again, all that. But if you look online at some of the social media, it looks like the purge is happening here on campus. That's basically our Spartan Challenge. We don't actually hurt anybody, but we have lots of competitions going on with, a lot of fun for these guys. Um, Now, Devin, looking back, you're a senior, so reflect back and tell us maybe your favorite memory since you've been here.
My favorite memory has been being able to participate in Excalibur. I finally this year I got to be a valet, so I got to park cars and bring cars up. That's probably my best memory because I've been waiting. I was waiting 2 years to be able to do it, and now I finally got to do it as a senior. And it was like a goal on my list checked off finally.
I have a feeling he just likes driving the fancy cars and getting the tips, but let's get past that.
Oh yeah.
Um, Now, Pitt, how about you? Tell us a favorite memory you have.
One of my favorite memories is from my first year. We So on campus we have honor companies, so the companies will compete for the honor company title by having the best looking barracks, clean, best uniforms. Um, there's a bunch of different things that go into it, but our company was in I think fourth or fifth place out of the five companies. We came back and we won almost every week, and that was really cool. But at the end of the year, we lost by 1 point to Devon's company. So, so
Yeah, yeah. These guys love fighting for that honor company every year, and it's good stuff. And that's one thing that's really good. We know that we're all male school, and we know that guys like competition, so we do make just about everything here a competition. From clean rooms to actually, sports and playing intramurals. So, yeah, have a good time. All right, let's see here. Getting close to the end, but I do want to, one more time throw out hashtag CMA Open House with any questions. Hashtag CMA Open House. And if you, again, too shy to ask during the live, if you have questions, please email me. Admissions@camdenmilitary.com. That's ADMISSIONS at camdenmilitary.com. Question coming in: what are the performing arts like at CMA? Are any of you guys, raise your hand if you're in drama, art, been in plays, anything? All right, Pitt, good for you. All right, a little bit about here at Camden. Oh, and Simmons, yeah. Okay.
I did drama last year with Miss Saxton. So the drama class is really cool. We have a stage in the gym to perform with our plays. So we do a Christmas play. We did a bullying play, just to like raise awareness for bullying, and we also did like an anti-vaping play, just to show like what happens and whatnot. So there's a bunch of different things that we do, and one day we'll have the whole corps of cadets come out and they'll fill out the bleachers and we'll perform for them. So we spend a lot of time practicing and working for these plays. We have the visual arts class. They build the whole set. They build everything that goes into the play. So it's two different classes coming together to make that play happen.
Yeah. We also have young men that participate locally with the Camden Community Theater. So the Fine Arts Center in Kershaw County will actually have plays throughout the year and invite our young men to participate. And some guys have been lead roles before, and others have just worked soundboard and things like that. But we definitely have the opportunity to continue that. And Simmons, if I'm not mistaken, I believe you play the trumpet. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So tell us about the band program.
Well, this is my first year playing a trumpet, and sometimes to come to the first period band class was the most advanced band class. I mean, we have some very skilled players here. A lot of them have left, but we have a very good marching band. We have, I would say, in my opinion, the best band teacher here.
Yeah, we do. Slade is a great band teacher, and for guys who are interested in learning to play an instrument, he can pretty much start you at the beginning of any instrument and teach you how to play it. I talked to a young man that's graduating this year, Cadet Marshawn, and he plays the trumpet like just perfectly, and he played taps the other day flawlessly, and I was like, wow, how long have you been playing? And he was like, oh, just a couple of years. Slade taught me. I was like, wow. So yeah, he can really play. And Simmons is good too. I did see Simmons performing the other day. And then another brag on Simmons. He participated in National History Day, which is a competition that we participate in every year. And he was in a skit, I guess. And tell us a little bit about that, Simmons.
Well, I was in it, and then I ended up quitting. My dad made me go back on it, and I realized after, I'm glad that he maybe did that because I got a chance to win a medal, which at the end of the year will be presented to me in an award ceremony to put in my parade uniform about right here. So that'll be exciting. I mean, we did a really good job. We won first place.
You won first place regionals, probably going to win state, and probably going to nationals. Yeah, or have one. Yeah. So we did just post it yesterday on our YouTube channel. So if you want to go watch it. What was it about? Yours was about what?
The title was Rising Above the Segregated South to Break Barriers in Astronomical History. And it's about the three African Americans who went to space: Guy Bluford, Charles Bolden, and Ron McNair. Ron McNair is the one who died in the Challenger incident.
Right. Yeah.
And
South Carolina.
I played.
You played who?
I played Guy Bluford, which is the first African American to go to space.
Gotcha. Very cool. Yeah, y'all did a great job with that. All right, question coming in. Wants to know when fall enrollment is. So we're taking applications currently for fall enrollment. And the very first day of school for all new students, I believe, is August 22nd. It's the Saturday of the third weekend in August. So that's when all the new students will come in. Returning students like Cadet Pitt and Simmons will actually come in either on the Friday or the Sunday, but we let all the new guys come in on a Saturday. And then they also want to know when campus visits will begin to be available. I don't know. Trust me, I want it to happen as much as you do. But right now, South Carolina, we do not have a stay-at-home or shelter-in-place, but we have a work or home order. So that means you either have to be at work or at home or going in between the two. So, don't know when that will be lifted. It all depends on this virus. So we just pray that it goes away quickly and that we can get back to normal as soon as possible. But as I mentioned earlier, we are having Zoom meetings about 2 to 3 times a week at various times throughout the day. That gives you a chance to interact with other students, maybe parents, myself, Andre Sweetko, who's our Associate Director of Admissions. So it's really, really, we're doing everything we can to virtually get you the Camden experience. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up for tonight, I think, but I want to ask everybody one last question. Simmons, tell me, if you had it to do all over again, like you said, your dad made you go back to the National History Day, and I know probably at the beginning when you first got here, you were like other students and thought, oh gosh, what have I got myself into? All right, well, you've made it through the whole year. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I like the military structure. I mean, I feel good about myself. By the end of the year, I will have achieved the corporal rank. I mean, I had a lot of PAD this year. I had over 1,000 tours, which is a lot. That was on the second semester. I just had like this period of defiance, and I've gotten through that. My captains helped me, and I think I've matured and grown.
All right. Good job. And Pitt, you've been here a couple of years, but looking at where you are now as to where you were maybe before coming here, was Camden the right decision for you?
Yeah, definitely. It's just been pretty much life changing to me. Um, Having the question of if I can go to college versus what college do I want to go to is probably the main thing that I take out of like Camden. Beyond all the military, everything, setting me up for college and being able to go to a college that I want to is probably one of the biggest things for me.
Good, good. And real quick, Devin, before we get to you, a question coming on Instagram. If you're not a Christian, do you have to go to chapel? Yes, you have to go either to the on-campus service, or if you're not a Christian and you're maybe Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, another faith, you study your doctrine, but you don't have to go to chapel. But you'd be studying your doctrine during that time. So I hope that answers that question for you. All right, Devin, we're going to close with you since you're the old timer here, the senior. I want you to kind of just look back at your time. I want you to look in the camera and talk to mom and dad. And, this is not, a cheap experience. We are the most affordable military boarding school in the country, but least expensive tuition. But, for most people, it's kind of a sacrifice. And tell your parents, was it worth it?
Oh yeah, it was definitely worth it. I think they already know that because I told them thank you the day they came and picked me up earlier this year. Um, yeah, definitely. I wouldn't be who I am now without it. Like Will said, I wouldn't. It's more of like where I want to go for college, not if I'm gonna get in. Because on the track I was on, I wasn't gonna get in at all, and I just couldn't be more grateful. And like, especially with my leadership skills, I've managed to achieve the rank of second lieutenant um, earlier this year at the beginning, and it's been amazing ever since I came.
All right. Well, guys, that's going to do it tonight for us on this edition of Conversation with Camden, the COVID-19 special edition. You do live, but hopefully the next time we do this in a couple of weeks, this virus will be gone and we can tell you to come visit the campus. But in the meantime, don't forget to visit our social media channels, and then we're everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, you name it, we're there. YouTube. So visit us there. Also visit our website for more important information. Don't forget my email, which is admissions@camdenmilitary.com, with any questions or if you would like references from the area. If we have students watching, you can also email me there at that address, and I can connect you with some of these guys that you see on the screen here tonight or other guys that maybe live in your area. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off from Camden. So until we see you again, have a good night and stay safe. Wash the hands.